Here.
Mr. Dressel.
Here.
Mr. Vaughn. Here. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Paul.
Here.
Mr. LaMagna.
Here. All members of council are here and accounted. This is a special meeting that was scheduled for this evening, February 19th at 7:30. Will the clerk please read the call to the special meeting?
To all honorable members of council pursuant to the authority of section 731.44 of the revised code of the state of Ohio and section 111.02 of the codified ordinances of the city of Steubenville, 1957 as amended, you are hereby notified that a special meeting of city council will be held on Thursday, February 18, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. in council chambers. This meeting is to be held for the purpose of ordinance number 2016-13 as amended, ordinance authorizing the entering into of an employment agreement with James Mathematis. Sincerely, Frankie Anderson, Clerk of Council.
Hearing the letter to the call to the special meetings, if there's no objections, it will be ordered into the record. Hearing no objections, it is so ordered. Ordinance number 2016-13 as amended by the Finance Committee, Mr. Paul, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dressel for its second reading.
Ordinance number 2016-13 as amended, an ordinance authorizing the entering into of an employment agreement with James Mathematis.
You heard the second reading of ordinance number 2016-13. The third and final reading of ordinance number 2016-13 as amended will be next Tuesday on February 23rd. That will conclude the ordinances and resolutions before City Council. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call for a special meeting on Tuesday, February 23rd, for the purpose of having a third reading of the ordinance that was just read, as well as I would like to sunshine an ordinance number 2016-15 out of the Finance Committee, an ordinance authorizing and entering into a 30-day employment agreement with James Mathematis and declaring an emergency. And that we would also voted on Tuesday.
There's been a motion and a second that next Tuesday on the 23rd, there'll be a special meeting for consideration of the third reading on ordinance number 2016-13 and also what was being sunshine. Let's make roll call on the first motion for the special meeting.
Mr. DiLoretto?
Aye.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Ms. Vaughn? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. LaMagna?
Aye. So moved. There will be a special meeting next Tuesday on February 23rd, 7:30 here at City Council to consider the third reading of ordinance number 2016-13 and also tonight the sunshine legislation of a contract for 30 days with James Mathematis, and we will have an ordinance supporting that as an emergency.
Correct.
Any questions from the members of council? That will conclude the ordinances and resolutions and a call for a special meeting. Is there anyone wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
Sarah DiCarlo, 700 Lawson Avenue. I just have a question. On Tuesday, at the meeting, the law director had stated you have to ask for a 24-hour notice before asking for a special meeting. Why do we have to wait until Tuesday to have the third and final reading? Why can't you ask for another 24-hour notice and have the final meeting on Saturday? Because we really need Mr. Mathematis.
I believe that was what consensus was built upon the finance committee. Mr. Johnson.
We could add another special meeting either tomorrow or Saturday. However, by sunshining, whether we had it tomorrow or Saturday, that ordinance will not take effect for 30 days. By presenting this new ordinance on Tuesday, which we can vote as emergency, if we pass this, Jim would be employed the next Wednesday on the 24th.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
Yes, my name is Paul Rue, 803 Longford, Steubenville, Ohio. I don't know the gentleman who's going to be, you have picked as a city manager. From what I can see, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's no prior experience for him to be in the city manager. So if I'm in error of that, I'd like someone to correct me. To pay him $95,000 for no prior experience is absurd. I can see, apparently you've already picked the gentleman. Why not prorate the income, allow him to work, to prove himself to be an effective city manager? I don't know if he has thought about that, but to pay someone, I mean, I've been in business, and I have not heard of anyone with no prior experience, no nothing, getting paid this kind of money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rue, for your comments. I just made, through the interview process, as you're well aware, we interviewed 3 individuals that applied for the city manager's position. City council had always said that all 3 of them were highly qualified. The selection process was for Mr. Mattis, and that's what we're going through the process of hiring now. Your point of him not having experience as a city manager is well noted. However, I do want to make it clear that he does have administrative experience. He has directed workforce, and I think that was taken into consideration by the members of council.
And I didn't see that. If I overlooked that, apologize for that. But I didn't see that when I was going through the material.
Well, I do want to note also that City Council, through this process, the first time ever in the history of the city, had open interviews. And we had quite a few citizens participating by attending it. They didn't participate by asking questions, but they heard the qualifications of all 3 of the candidates. Normally, those interviews were done in the executive session behind closed doors, but this council opted to have them open to the public.
Yeah, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't present at any of the meetings, but I did go out to read, the background. If I missed that particular section, then I apologize to the council. But I did not see that. So unless, I can see it somewhere, I'm still standing on, that without the background, paying this kind of money, it doesn't make any sense.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Johnson?
And I just like to add to that. I mean, Mr. Mattis has supervised a workforce of 425. He's managed a budget bigger than the city of Steubenville's budget. $95,000 seems like a lot of money, but it is a going rate for a city manager. Actually, it's on the low end of a rate for a city manager in the state of Ohio. And also you have to look, I'm in an organization where we had a problem with pay where the manager is making less than people report to him. Jim's compensation package is not even the highest compensation that the city of Steubenville pays to an employee. There's at least one employee that's going to have a total compensation package higher than Jim Mattis, and Jim Mattis is the one that's ultimately responsible for everything in the city. So in my opinion, he should make higher than anybody in the city. In any organization, you said you worked in business, the top guy who's responsible for everything should make the most money, unless you're on a baseball team or a sports team, and that's a different. But other than that, in real life, the top guy makes the most money. $95,000 is a lot of money. I understand that, but in the scope, well, as long as we have a city manager form of government, $95,000 on the low end. I mean, other jobs that are going open, they're advertising anywhere $95,000 to $150,000, and those cities are similar in size to us.
But was that on his resume that was posted?
That was on his resume. That all council members got copies of his resume.
Like I said, I didn't see it. So whether or not
Well, I don't think we posted the resumes made that, but we didn't make the resumes public. But every councilman saw the resume and saw that he managed a workforce of 425 people.
Is that local or outside of the area?
He managed it, the DEA, I think El Paso, Texas, the branch of the DEA, responsible for the budget.
And how long has that been?
That's been a while, but if you look at the others, the most recent city managers, we paid them We paid the last city manager more than what we're paying Mr. Mattis. And he came from a town of like 7,000. You go from the city manager before that, she came from a town of 4,000, and we paid them that. So
they have city manager experience.
in my view, you can have city manager experience, you can have manager experience. A manager is a manager. I mean, well, that's...
Okay, I mean, it's always said and done, so I mean, the continued conversation right now doesn't matter. Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Holmes.
I think it's reasonable to ask about the experience of being a city manager, but realize the charter does not specify that. The charter calls for executive experience. And when you talk about more than 400 employees where we have less than 200 in the city, when you talk about hundreds of millions of dollars being responsible for, and we have a budget of 13 million, we definitely would be comparable to all the executive experience that he has. Running a city is going to be very similar. Now, there will be differences, there will be a learning curve, but the charter does not say must be a city manager. And again, I would have to go back to that example. When you have any business, if you have the manager making less money than the person who's the salesman or the person who's the secretary, it does not make sense. And so we have people in the city making in the upper 80s and low 90s. And that's not including the whole package. Then he did not need the health insurance coverage, which was a $14,000 annual value. He's able to get health insurance elsewise. So these were all kinds of points that were not brought out the other night that need to be. And according to the charter, he is abundantly qualified for this position. We're very blessed to have him.
Thank you. I believe Mr. Diaretta.
Yeah, I just want to make a short statement. I concur with my two colleagues. I think $91,000 sounds high. However, he is a top manager. He's managing 185 people, and we have a lot of people in the city, over $800,000 worth of overtime. A lot of people are just working. He's going to make them work. They're all going to be accountable. I'm going to be accountable. The citizens are going to be accountable. The department heads are going to be accountable. And for the first time since the charter's been attached, we have somebody locally who's going to live here, stay here, and be part of the problem and be part of the solution.
Thank you. The city council on city business, please come forward, state their name.
Patrick McLaughlin, 201 Roslyn Boulevard, Steubenville, Ohio. I want to thank you for choosing Mr. Mattis as our next city manager. I don't know Jim that well, but I know him well enough to know that he's going to get the job done. He loves where he lives. He cares about the community. He has a heart. And I think for the longest time, we needed somebody from this city who understands the people, who cares about the people who live here. And the man who does that sits right there. 95,000 ain't enough. This man deserves everything because he cares about this community and he has a heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address. If not, that will conclude the public forum. Before we move for adjournment, if I could just, since we had a special meeting, take a moment on a couple of quick subjects. First of all, city council asked that the building department start receiving a credit card easier for our contractors. We have facilitated that. I signed the agreements today. Next week, we do have a finance committee meeting scheduled at 6:30. If it's okay with the chairman of the finance, I did not yet prepare an agenda, but I provided all members of council the financials for January of 2016. The package, please bring them next Tuesday. But I would like our finance director to talk about the advantages of that credit card machine within the building department, making it more friendly using for our contractors. So that's on its way. Also, City Council, we had a discussion last week, and this will take me very brief, about the parking lot in the rear of the new city building, behind this building. And it was noted that those discussions started back in 2014. Today at staff meeting, I asked Mr. Mattis to attend the staff meeting today, and we had some discussions. We had a lot of discussions on the appearance of the signs, trying to bring it within the storm district and the use of the lot. I did find out that we so far have sold one yearly pass, but on a more monthly, on a regular basis, we sell anywhere between 8 and 10 monthly passes in the lot. I was trying to create an atmosphere because there's 45 parking stalls within that lot, of having 3 of the rows open for free parking for the public, but still reserving 1 of the rows for our monthly passes. As we went through the conversation, we all agreed upon that we will open it for 2-hour parking, free parking there. We had some discussions on the sign also. I asked our finance director, if you can recall, this was the sign that we were talking about, to hold off because in storage, we already have, count my pennies all the time, 2-hour parking, 8 to 4, after 4 o'clock, we know there's not enforcement, and we can facilitate this rather quicker and easier at the 2 entrances on 4th Street and through Court Street out. So if I don't hear any objections or feedback, we're going to go ahead and just proceed with this. However, I need a little bit more time to talk to the people that are holding these permits also. And we also talked about this coming spring, striking the stalls and renumbering the stalls. And we're getting prices for that. So although we're going to start movement on the parking lot and having it open, we're going to need a little bit more time. I think council really wanted to facilitate this by the end of the month. I can assure you the free parking will be, but negotiations, especially with the yearly pass holder, I might need a little bit more time, but we're moving in the right direction for that. I have a map of the parking lot, and when we have our next committee meeting, I'd like to bring up some, again, there's 45 stalls there. I doubt right now, in the future, I hope, that every parking stall will be taken, but I think we can afford to have at least 1 row closer to the building designated for the monthly parking passes, because it's a convenience for those people that work downtown also, and it generates just a little bit of money, so to speak, keep the lights on in the parking lot. We are moving forward with that task. So the next planning committee, I believe that fell under, I would like that to be placed on the agenda. And again, the city manager, Mr. Mattis, sat in on the meeting and is fully aware of the subjects and the challenges that we have. Would you like to add anything to that, Mr. Mattis?
You're fine, I think you're in the direction where you need to be, and just update the committee when they meet again exactly where we're at with it.
Thank you. So I just wanted to give those 2 quick reports, and once again to remind the members of council, I'll probably get my hand smacked on this one, the importance of March 15th, issue 1 and 2 are renewal levies. And it was indicated that maybe Monday we could get together again for a committee meeting. If the members of council will tell me, are you saying okay for
4 o'clock. Is that the time you want on that?
Yeah, I'll sooner the better.
Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, there's a fair 6:30 fair housing meeting will be done way before that. So tonight I would like to call for a levy committee meeting. I'm sure Jerry will have a room ready for us. At the convention center at 4 o'clock next Monday, which will be on February 22nd. And I might add that the video that was on YouTube that was produced is outstanding. I encourage everybody to look at that. And also, Frankie DiCarantonio produced a website on the levy with a lot of good information, pie charts and all, and I want to thank him. But to visit the website, can you tell me what the...
It is at SteubenvilleLevy.com.
It's easier. Thank you, Frankie, for taking that time.
Can we thank Madeline Nelson for doing the
Oh,
filming
yes,
of
okay,
this?
Madeline went around in the freezing cold to interview the members of council and took her time and talent to produce the video that's on YouTube. And we could get to that how do we get
On the
to it?
website.
Yeah, Frankie was able to post it on the website.
Go to the website and you could watch the YouTube. So we do appreciate that. If there's no further business,
Can we just clap for Jim?
Okay, I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
it's been ready to move and second that we adjourn. Roll call.
Mr. Loretta?
Aye.
Mr. Dressel?